Good morning, how are we all doing today? It's Wednesday, it's not as windy as it has been, but it's still not particularly bright and cheerful. But you're with me, so I'm feeling bright and cheerful. I've got some lovely jewellery for you today, almost a suite really in terms of what you can make with it. As you can see, I'm wearing the necklace that we're going to be making, and I'm wearing the earrings too. You can change this up in terms of your design. If you wanted, you could have it much tighter and you could wear it like a choker. You could add extra links in to get this to go further up the neckline if you wanted. I'm also going to show you that you can make a little bracelet with it just using the links. They're really, really beautiful. They're like twisted knots. They've got a bit of a Celtic feel, and they're just beautiful components to work with. I'm going to be using some headpins, some beautiful glass pearl drops, and some jump rings, and that's all we really need. In terms of tools today, I'm going to be using my round nose pliers. If you want to, you can use your looper tool. I'm going to be using them as well, just to speed me up a little bit. 2 pairs of pliers or a jump ring opener, and wire cutters if you're turning your loops by hand. Apparently the sound is a little bit muffled, so let me double check why that might be. Just bear with me a moment. I apologise if we are somewhat should be. Is this any better? Could it possibly be my microphone being a little bit further away? Let's try. No, it needs to be that one. As far as I'm aware, it should be this one. Can you let me know if the sound is any better? Hopefully it's just you, Mina. Good morning to Carol. Hello to Mina. Good morning to Rachel. Good morning. No proper sound. Good morning to Bobby, who's in Ohio. And good morning to Camille and Sheila. Does it sound any better at all? You sound a bit weird, like a big empty room. No, it's still the same. Okay, I'm just going to keep changing it and hoping for the best. Let's go for... How about now? Okay, let me keep changing and hoping for the best. I don't know why it's on what I'm usually doing. Is that worse? I don't want to sound like I'm in a fish tank. Is this any better? Just keep saying no or yes. Good morning, good morning. Yes, that's better, says Camille. Is this better? Jan says, I've just received my kits for these necklaces. My goodness, Jan, you're speedy quick. Okay, so to anybody who missed us, thankfully, we've not done anything, but hopefully the sound is working okay now. I'm going to be making these lovely necklaces. So if I take it off, you can see this lovely black one that I'm wearing here is just very, very pretty drops with these kind of, I think, quite Celtic looking twisted knots. Oh, thank goodness for that. And say I'm going to be making earrings, which you can see I'm wearing, and I have a little bracelet for you too. Linda's saying the sound's very muffled. Is it better now or not? Oh my goodness, it's not a good start to the day. Why would it be? I'm not over the microphone, I don't think. Oh dear, someone let me know, has it gone back to being muffled? Good morning to Rextron, how are you doing? Sharon and Jackson, she says, good morning Natalie. I've been up all night working and making earrings. There is now a target, 248 pairs, exhausted to say the least. Oh my goodness, good morning. Now it sounds like I'm wrapped in cotton wool. Does this sound any better? Muffled and making clicking noises. I don't really want to start if it's doing its own thing, and I've tried all the different settings. If we go on default, is that any? Now I can hear feedback.
Oh, I've got a yeah. Is it now giving feedback because I've just changed it again? Is this okay? Camille's okay, Carol's okay, Linda's no, Jan's saying yeah, Sheila's saying yeah, Carol's saying yeah, Mina's saying yeah, Izzy's giving me a thumbs up. So I'm going to stick with this now. Joanne's saying much better. I don't know what's going on. That's better, says Pauline. How many pairs of earrings can I make in one sitting, says Rextron. It completely depends on the style of earring. If I'm doing these, I reckon, I'd challenge myself to at least, well, it depends how many is a sitting as well. My sittings are very, 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 very long. But in an hour, I reckon I could do about, with a looper tool, easy 50 pairs of these ones. But if I'm doing wire wrapped pieces, then, you know, I could do something really intricate. It might take me an hour just to do a pair. So it really, really depends. Okay, Sharon. Well, we could have a battle, couldn't we, Sharon? We could sit together and time ourselves. Okay, thank goodness the sound is working. Right, while it's working and my camera's on, I'm gonna show you, I'll show you them down on the mat and then I'll take you on the website. Okay, so you're making these lovely necklaces. We've got these gorgeous little components which look like this. They're the same front and back. They've got 4 little loops on each end, which means you can stack them this way, you can stack them that way. I'm going to put them in kind of almost like a diamond type shape with the loops above and below and next to each other. And that's going to give me something to hang these lovely droplets off. When it comes to making the earrings, I can do exactly the same with those. But I just thought they look so beautiful on their own as a little bracelet. So there's lots that you can do and you can play about in the kits. If you wanted to, though, you could make your bracelet. Let me get these out. And instead of stacking them in this direction, you could stack them like this, and you could put them together and attach with the jump rings if you wanted them to fit that way across instead. I'll pop it on my wrist so you can see what I mean. So you could put them together like little squares if you wanted, and you could create some lovely chain effects with those. I just think it's really pretty. I've not even put any beads or drops on the bracelet. I just wanted it as it was, all metal. So in terms of what we have for you today, this is the main design that I'm going for. This is the necklace here for you, and it's just very pretty and they dangle really nicely. So I'm going to take you over to the website now. We are totallybeads.co.uk. Hopefully, when I head over into the video tutorial section, the microphone will stay working. So I will just keep dipping into the comments just to check. But this is the Judith jewellery set here, and this is where you're going to get your kits today. So if you head into the jewellery making section or the video sections on the main page, you'll see all these lovely colours for you. They are £12.99 each. And as I say, you're making all sorts and you can really change up what it is you want to make with these. We've also got an offer on for 2 for £20. So they're all going to be on the same rhodium coloured findings with the rhodium chain and the same little link. So it all matches that metal, and your ear wires as well, and your head pins and your clasp and your jump rings. All of them are going to be in a lovely rhodium finish. So it's going to match these kind of antique silver little connectors that we have. However, if you wanted to double them up, you could, in terms of your kits, and get the 2 for £20. You could, of course, add in the different colour pearls with them, or you can just add and make more jewellery. You don't have to mix the colours. If you think, I really, really want the cobalt, you might want to make 2 sets of all of that up. So we have an aqua, a black, a cobalt, a dark lavender, a lilac and a teal. They're all absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to demo with the black today because I'm feeling the monochrome. So I'll show you what each of them look like and what you get in your kit. So it says, create this unique drop necklace, an optional bracelet with this diamond connecting or connector and aqua pearls. This is your aqua colour. It makes a necklace, bracelet and earrings, but you can make an extra necklace or bracelet if you wanted to. Of course, if you've got a couple left over, you might not want to add all of these in. I'm adding 12 links in. You could, if you wanted, just add 5 at the front or just add 1 onto a chain and just have it as a pendant. But in your kit, you're going to get your glass drop pearl beads, your diamond connector, your chain, your jump rings, your lobster clasp, your headpins and your earring hooks, everything you need. If you want to see the dimensions, I'm using 5x1 outer diameter jump rings. I'm also going to add a 6x1 to the clasp, but to link up them all together, I'm using the 5x1, so they're really, really sturdy, a little bit smaller. The antique silver metal connectors, which they've said they're in diamond shape, but of course you can turn them round and you could use them as a square shape if you prefer. They're 12mm and you've got 4 loops on there. If you want to add extras in, you can get an extra 12 pieces for just £1.50 there. The aqua drops I'm using in this colourway are 6x9. All of the drops will be the same size in each one, they just change colour. And the headpins I'm using, these are 30mm headpins. You could use 50, you're just cutting more off. You only need it enough to fit that drop on. So that's everything you need in your kit. This one is the aqua colour. So you can see here, this is the necklace. Oh, clicked on the wrong thing. Camille saying she's really liking the bracelet. Hello Heather, how are you doing? Sheila says these look nice. I thought they were going to be chain mailed connectors that we were going to make. No, we're going to use ready-made connectors. Really, really straightforward and lovely to use. So that's it when it looks like a necklace. This is how I've put them together for the bracelet. Again, just linking with those little jump rings, really straightforward. And of course, you've got enough to make your matching earrings as well. And then you've got your full suite of jewellery. So quickly running through them because I know we took a little bit more time faffing about with the sound. This one is the black. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous being with the black. It's got a lovely kind of gothic look to it. Again, still £12.99. So the jet black pearls that I'm using here. The cobalt is, of course, that's the colour of what they are. All of them are named the colour of the glass pearl drops, 6x9mm that you'll be getting. I'll try not to whiz up and down on the screen a little bit too much. Don't want to make you dizzy. Getting all the same components in there. We have this beautiful dark lavender, which looks like this. So beautiful kind of just gorgeous darky purple colour, really, really, really lovely. If you were wanting something a little bit lighter, maybe a little bit more summery, if you want to mix them, you know, I think these lilac could look beautiful with the cobalt. I think these lilac could look gorgeous with the lavender. You could make it really summery and you could add in the aqua as well. You could do whatever you want. So this one here is your gorgeous lilac. And lastly, but by no means least, we've got the teal, which is absolutely gorgeous. Really, really beautiful. Love that colour. That's perfect all year round wear for me. It's got kind of festive look to it with it being green. And it's got that kind of summer forest look to it. Really, really beautiful colour. So they're all your colourways for you to choose from today. They're all £12.99, making a whole lot of jewellery. You can, of course, change your currency if you want to at the top of the page. If you click here, just for those watching in the US, if I click on that one, you'll see all of your kits are $14.54. But then we also have, it just says 2 for £20, so I don't know how that works out. Whatever £20 British pounds sterling is, you'll get that offer as well. We don't discriminate here. Offers for all. I'll pop it back just so I don't get myself confused when I go shopping a little bit later on. So there are Judith Jewellery. Head over to the website if you would like to buy your kits. You can do that. Camille's asking, where's all my oranges and lemons? I've just gone with what pearls were available for me. Rachel says she's loving the drop beads and Joanne is loving the cobalt. Question, says Elaine, when you go to the warehouse, do you and Laura fight over some of the goodies? I'd certainly fight you for these components. No, we're really good, to be honest. I know I will be honest. She might not be watching, so she might know. I think Katie gatekeeps. I think she'll be making something. I'll go, oh, they're gorgeous. And she won't tell where they are because she's going to be making with them. My screen has paused. There we go. But no, me and Laura are quite good, to be honest. Sometimes we do have very similar ideas of what we'd like to make. And then when we come to make it, we're going about it in completely different ways, using different techniques and usually picking different beads. The only thing we really fight over is the wire. But we've both joined cahoots and we've decided, let's just mither Simon and go, will he get us this? Will he get us that? And when the pressure's on, hopefully we'll get what we want. You got to be a bit forthright in life, haven't you? Okay, so I'm going to start making these. So I'm going to I'll just demo the necklace for you today. If you're making the earrings, dead straightforward. We're going to turn a loop, which I'm going to show you. You can do with your, let's get into shot. You can do them with your round nose pliers or your looper tool. And all we're going to be doing is just threading it on. I'm not doing wrap loops, just turned loops. So I don't need a jump ring. I can put that directly on. And then I'm just going to open up the ear wire and pop that on the top. So I don't need to demonstrate the earrings for you. They are pretty self-explanatory. The bracelet works exactly the same as the necklace is going to do. I'm just not adding any chain to it, but of course if you want to make an extended chain you absolutely can, and I'm not adding any of the drop pearls to it, but again, if you wanted to, you absolutely could. You can do what you want in terms of arranging these together. You could connect them in a whole lot of different ways. You could make a larger kind of pendant that would look pretty. You could attach them together, maybe pop a little bead in the middle. You could wire wrap them, you could put them square way round. You can use them in any which way you want. For my necklace, are going to put out 12 pieces, which is what you will get in the little bag. So if you wanted to, this is if you were buying them individually. So if you wanted to add more in, I think you get 12 pieces in there. So you could, of course, make some extra necklaces, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. If you wanted to just have one as a pendant, just like maybe, we're doing with the earrings, you could add that onto a chain and you could just do it like so. You could do whatever you wanted with them, but I'm going to add 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my 5x1 outer diameter jump rings. So to open them, I'm just going to make sure I open them and close them properly. So to open my jump ring, you can use a jump ring opener if you want to. I just use 2 pairs of pliers, like chain nose or flat nose pliers. As long as they're smooth on the inside, then I'm going to be able to open and close that without marring it. Now, the more we open and close a jump ring, the more stress and tension we're going to put under it. So I don't want to open them too much. Oh, I love that sound. I tend to close mine first just to make sure it's lined up, and then I reopen it. I want to open it by turning it slightly towards me. I'm not pulling it out. I know I'm like a broken record, and you've heard me say this before if you've watched me before. But I like to just turn it towards me, and that way I'm only opening it up by a couple of millimeters. If I open it out, I'm going to distort that lovely round shape. We're not going to be able to get it back into the rounded shape. When it comes off the dowel that they're made in, fighting with this one a little bit, they sometimes overlap. So let's see, that one would have been a perfect example to show you. There you go, this one is too. So they're not, can you see there's like a fraction just over each other? I want to close it and I want to make that noise if I can. So at the moment, I'm just opening them up. And all I'm going to do is just connect one onto the other. So to open, I'm just giving it a little twist towards me. Notice this hand, my less dominant hand, just stays still. And all the movement is with my dominant hand, which is my right, just to turn it towards me. So you can open them up one by one, or you can open them up in advance as you go along. When I have my jump rings open, all I'm going to do is take one of my connecting loops and add another one on. Now these are the same front and back on these connectors. There isn't, a particular way round they need to go. And because you've got a loop on each kind of corner, it doesn't matter how you pick them up. So you can pick them up in any way you want. If you wanted to make earrings longer as well, you could add more of these together and you could make them kind of dangly. Ooh. That's also why they're called jump rings, because they have a habit of jumping out your pliers. So just opening it up a little bit, threading one through the connector and closing it up. So I'm picking up my jump ring, sliding it through one of the loops. I've moved my camera, I'm still not quite in shot, am I? And then to close it up, I'm just bringing those points back like so. Sharon's saying that's how I do my jump rings. I tend to just close it first, just to make sure it's fully aligned, and then give it a little twist open. And we're just feeding one onto the neck. So we want them to be connected. So we're getting them in that kind of diamond shape. One of the loops at the top isn't going to have anything on it. It's just going to be left with the little loop. And then the bottom, we can add on our lovely little drop pearls. So if I was to be making a bracelet, I just started off with the necklace design, and then I just thought, ooh, how pretty would that be as a bracelet? You can, of course, add little beads onto it. If you wanted to, you could, if you've got little eye pins, you could put a little bead in between each one and link them from one to the next if you wanted to do something completely different. There's lots of things that you can do with these components. Or if you want to add a little pearl onto this, you can do as well. I just kept it, as I say, all metal, just the chain. So I'm going to add on my 12 connecting little links. Closing up my jump ring, and I've got something like this. If you want to make the bracelet, I would add a 6mm jump ring onto one end and a clasp onto the other. You might want to add some extra links in. I think I've got one extra there, haven't I? No. And that fits my wrist anyway, but you might want to add it a little bit more just to make it a little bit bigger. Jan says, I was just thinking about putting beads in between the connectors. See, we all have similar thoughts. The same when me and Laura go down to the warehouse together. We're not always allowed down together, but when we are, we just double check with each other. What are you doing? Oh, I was going to do that. Oh, I was going to do mine like this. And then we have a lot of fun. Okay, so to make my necklace, I'm going to be taking a length of chain. You're going to get your chain in your kit. You can make that as long or as short as you want to. For this necklace, I've said about 30 centimetres, which is about 12 inches. And I'm just going to cut it in half, essentially. Well, I'm not cutting it because these links open. They're not soldered together, so I can use that link. So what I will do is I will get myself a pin, because it's just easier than measuring it out. To make sure it's absolutely equal, but it's going to be about 15 centimetres on each side. So I'm going to take a pin just for me to get hold of those two last links, and then I can find the centre. So I tend to let gravity let it fall. That one there is my central link, and I'm just like a jump ring, I'm going to give it a little twist open, and then I've got two pieces of chain which are the same size. I'm going to link them onto the end. You can do this at any stage. You can do it at the beginning, you can do it at the end, but I'll just pop another one of my 5x1 outer diameter jump rings on, and that will slide onto this one here at the end, and close that up. And then this one, I didn't count how many jump rings I opened, but I think I've opened the perfect amount. And then I'm going to slide my other jump ring onto the other end of my connecting links and through the chain there. And make sure it's fully closed. We want to make sure we're taking our time. I'm rushing through this, but you want to make sure you're taking your time to close and open your jump rings properly. And then when we get to the end of the necklace, we're going to need to make sure that we can fasten it. So I'll just be adding 2 6x1 outer diameter jump rings on and my lobster clasp onto one end as well, which are all the rhodium finish. Now I need to start adding on my little drops, and they're going to go on each one of these here. Now I can use my round nose pliers, or I can use my chain nose pliers. If I just lift that up a little bit here, there is my pin. So I'm going to take my head pin. It's got a flat nail tip finish to it, and I'm just going to slide on my pearl. If you wanted to, you could slide your pearl on that way, and you could have your drops pointing downwards. That would look particularly lovely, but I've done them so my drops are going to be going this way, with the fat rounded section at the bottom. So it should sit fairly flush, and you're not really going to see that tip. Now when I am making my loops, I'm just going to do turned loops. I'm not doing wrap loops, and that's going to mean I can just attach them on really easily. So I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to bend really close to that pearl. Slight delay on my camera. Izzy's asking, do I know the size and name of the chain? I've been looking for something like that. It should be in the on the description. I will check for you if it isn't. Doesn't say, does it? I will find out for you, and I'll put it in the comments at the end, Izzy, because I obviously know what chain is because I wrote down the code. But I wouldn't want to guess, so I'll double check for you, and I will let you know. So I've bent the pin nice and closely to the top of the bead. I'm going to come in with my cutters and I'm going to cut about 1 centimetre. So I'm leaving 1 centimetre from the bend and to where my cutters are. That's going to be enough for me to turn that loop. Keeping hold of that when I cut, just so it doesn't fire away. I'm going to pop my round nose pliers in. I want it to be flush, so all of that pin's going to turn, supporting it with my thumb and my finger, giving it a little flick up, repositioning my hand and turning it all the way round. So I've got my little pin, or my little loop, sitting nice and central on top of the bead. And I want to make sure it's fully closed. Just to reiterate how to do that with the pliers, and then I'll show you with the looper tool. I'm bending nice and close because I want that loop to sit at the top. I'm bending it first because then when I turn the pin, the loop will turn and sit central at the top of the bead. I'm cutting about 1 centimetre because that's all I feel I need for the size of my loop. You can make your loop bigger or smaller depending on whereabout you put it on your round nose pliers. Making it flush. If there's a bit sticking out, it's not going to turn. So I just tend to place it where I want the size of that loop to be. Check it's flush. Give it a little flick up. Reposition my hand. Little rotations all the way round until that loop is fully turned and fully closed. And I'm going to do that 12 times so I've got enough for all of my connectors. But you don't need to. You could just pop one in the center if you wanted, or every other one. You could mix your colors if you're buying that multi-buy. If you've got your looper tool, then it is like this. So I'm going to take one of my pins and I'm going to slide my beads on, and I'm putting my beads on all in the same direction. So I'll just put some of these on. And then I'm going to take my looper tool. Now these are really good if you've got dexterity problems, or you're just making lots of jewellery and you want to speed yourself up and you don't want to be putting too much stress on your hands. They're really good time saving little tool. So you can see it'll tell you here what size, usually depending on which type you get, will tell you what size loop you're going to be turning, and all I need to do is squeeze that handle and that's going to cut and turn my loop at the same time. So I'm going to put my bead onto my pin and I'm going to slide it through. So I want the bead to sit close to this section here. That's where it's going to turn the loop from. This little part here is going to be what cuts off. It's a little bit sharp, so that's going to cut off the pin. And I want it through the little hole at the back. Now what I tend to do is as I start to press the handles in, I give it a little bend sometimes, and that just straightens up my loop. I tend to go back in anyway and straighten it up, but you can see just by closing that down, those handles, if I do it slowly, it's cut off the pin, and it has, it's turned the loop so tight, I can't get it off. Why can't I get it off? I've never done that before, but it's turned that loop as well. Now I want to straighten that up a little bit, so what I do is I do put my round nose pliers in and I give it a little bend backwards, and then I just make sure that that's fully closed. We're going to be opening these up anyway at the end, but I want to make sure they're closed before I start. So let's do that again without getting it stuck. I slide the bead onto the pin, put the pin through the hole at the back, give it a little press, and then that will turn my loop. Really straightforward, really easy. Tend to just put my round nose pliers back in just to close that loop fully if it hasn't already. So you can see it's much quicker even if you have to put your round nose pliers back in just to neaten it up using the tool. If we push this bead right up, it will leave still a little bit of space where that is, but we want to make sure that we're not chipping or breaking the bead. These are just glass beads, which means they're very, very lightweight and very reasonably priced. So we do just want to be delicate with it. There you go. So I want to make 12 of those. Here's some I've made earlier. You can do it with your round nose, or you can do it with your looper tool. Now all I'm going to do is open up the loops that I've made, just like I was doing with the jump ring before. So I'm going to give it a little flick up towards me, open it just a couple of millimeters. There's lots on my desk so you can't quite see. And then that bottom loop, I'm going to slide it on through and close it over and make sure it's fully closed. I like to keep it flat on the desk as I'm putting these on to the connectors, because what I like to do is I like to make sure that all the openings of the loops are at the back of the necklace. So I'll put them all on in the same direction. Little flick up, sliding it on to the bottom loop. And you can't really go wrong, she says, with this. Famous last words. But if you've got it laying flat on your desk, it is just a case of sliding them on and closing them up. So if you've got your loops closed fully to begin with, as you flick your plier back down, that should close the loop properly. But if you've got a little bit of space, you can just give it a little cheeky squish with your pliers over that loop just to make sure it's fully closed. So just go along, sliding it on and closing it down and open, hook through and flick it down. So it's a very quick, a little bit of paint on there. It's a very quick make, really. And you can make yourself some really beautiful looking jewellery. Can't remember who it was before who said they thought we were making chainmail, and you know, you could do little chainmail loops. I've done one similar where I'm making little stars using kind of like a Byzantine weave, which I have scheduled, but I've not put it together. Well, I've put it together, but I haven't scheduled it yet. But it would just take you so much longer than just using these lovely little components. So you can see in a matter of minutes, all I need to do is just turn a pile of my pins on my beads and then connect them all together. So that is how my necklace is looking. And then to finish, I'm just going to add on that 6mm by 1mm or 18 gauge outer diameter jump ring. Little twist towards me. Hook one through the last link of the chain and close it back over. And then on the other side, I'm going to give it a little flick open, and I'm going to add my lobster clasp onto one side. You can add your lobster clasp onto whichever side you want. Add that on. It's a 12mm lobster clasp before I close the jump ring, and then that will be how my chain attaches at the back of my neck. So there you have your lovely little connectors. As I say, if you're making an earring, it works just the same. We're going to just add one on, but you could add more if you wanted to. And then we're just going to open up the ear wire just like we would do a jump ring. Little flick open, attach my connector on and close it back down. So this is the Judith jewellery. There is enough to play with in terms of your design if you wanted to add more of these on. And if you're multi-buying the kits, you could add more drops on, less drops on. You could add more connectors to go all the way around. You could make a nice kind of choker effect with it and use this as like an extender chain. You can make a little bracelet, and you can also, you know, pop them together, as I say, if you wanted them to fit square like this. You would just be attaching a jump ring through this loop and that loop if you didn't want them in a diamond kind of shape. I'm going to try and find, Izzy, if I can quickly go on my program for you, where I upload all my details and all my information for the lives for the warehouse, and I'll see if I can find out exactly what the chain is that I am using for you today, because it isn't in the description by the looks of things. So today is the Judith jewellery. It is the 6th. It's the 6th of August already. Where's the time gone? Okay, so the chain that I am using for you, my lovely, it's let me see if I can pop that into the description on the website. I've just called it rhodium chain. So if I pop the code in, I might be able to find it for you. I should be able to find it for you. It's not coming up. I think the code for the chain, my love, would be CHN5503. That's the code that I put on for the warehouse to know. But I'm just trying to find it on the website. Just so I can tell you the dimensions of it. I'm not too sure, but we do have it, and we do have it in stock. It's definitely an oval link. It's not a Rolo linked chain. I'm guessing it's like 5 by 3.5, but I don't know, and I'm not too sure. Apologise for that. But if you contact the warehouse, I'm sure they'll be able to tell you, and they'll be able to tell you what's in the description. Let me bring myself up. Jan says, thank you, Natalie. A very pretty make. Thank you very much. As you can see, these are the earrings that I'm wearing. This is the necklace that I've just done. If you wanted to, you could have it like a choker. You could wear it much tighter, which would be quite nice for Halloween, really. I hope I've not missed any questions. If I have, do let me know. Sharon, I think you've gone to sleep. Don't wear yourself out. There's no rush, and I don't know whether you've got like an event coming up, which is why you're making so many earrings, but just relax. Izzy says, I love the connectors, very Celtic looking. Maybe it's me being a Scot. Well, maybe it's me having a little bit of Irish within my bloodstream, quite a lot of Irish in my bloodstream, but I think they look a little bit like Celtic knots. They're really, really pretty. There's loads you can do with them, having those little loops. I say, if you just wanted it, I mean, that'd be pretty, wouldn't it? Just like this. But those drops are gorgeous. All of your kits today, I've completely gone off where I was because I was looking for the chain. But if you head over into the jewellery making category on the website, this is the Judith Jewellery. I'll just go back and share this for you if I can. Reiterate the prices for you again on your kits. This one. Apologise again about the sound issues that we had this morning. Hopefully that's all good now. Head over to totallybeads.co.uk, head into the jewellery making or video tutorial section, whichever one you like. You can drop down here and see it's called the Judith Jewellery, and on this page you can see all your colours in aqua, black, cobalt, dark lavender, lilac or teal. They're all £12.99 for your kit, which will make lots of lovely things up. And you can play about with your length and your designs, or you can get 2 for £20. You can mix your colours, or you can just buy 2 of the same, whichever you want to do. That is it for me today. I am going to be back with you on Monday. Honestly, do not know where the days are going. I think when the kids are off school, I just don't know what day it is. And then I went out yesterday and did something that I would have done usually at the weekend. I've been getting school uniform sorted. But on Monday, I'm going to be making some lovely summery bag charms with you. Now, again, I can't remember who it was, but before I went to the warehouse, I said, if anybody's got any suggestions what you would like to see, let me know. And someone said, how about bag charms? Now, you don't have to put these on your handbag. You could make them into key rings. There's little ways around that you can change up the design with them as well. And we've got the most beautiful charms. Hopefully you'll be able to have a selection of all the charms we've got on the Totally Beads website, because there's loads of them. But I have put together like a little music themed one. I've put a holiday themed one. I've got some gorgeous red enamel charms, some beautiful pink enamel charms. And we've got a selection of different keychains or bag hooks for them. So we've got it in rose gold, gold, rhodium, silver, and we're going to be using jump rings to create our own chain with that. So you can change the links, you can change the length, and you can customize them and personalize them to you. So although we love making jewelry, we are Totally Beads. We do all sorts. If we can put a bead or some sort of jewelry technique into anything, then we will. So something a little bit different for you on Monday. If you can come and join me, I would love to see you then. If you are having a day where you're going out or you're working, I hope it's a lovely day. If you're staying in and you're making, then I hope you have lots of fun. Have a great rest of the week and wonderful weekend, and hopefully I'll see you on Monday, everybody. Take care.